I'm the fucking worst. Every time I see like a neighbor or something, and I want to have an exchange with them, like, hey, how you doing, man? I always say some fucking hacky bullshit at the end. Like I just gave this guy. He was like, hey, it's another day. I'm like, yeah, another one for the books. With confidence too. I said I was confident. My friend Craig came down over the weekend, and Craig is a guy that he was the one that I first started experiencing the demonic entity things. Well, they're not demonic entity things, they're actually demonic entities. They were centered around him. I didn't know what they were at the time. 2017 summer, I was pretty agnostic, which is kind of amazing, and I think there's some kind of spellcraft involved because I had been following sort of occult topics my whole life, and I knew that people in high places, powerful people, made their sacrifices to. And there was a lot of Satan worship going on and all that other stuff. So I got it that Satan was probably this real kind of thing. But I couldn't make the jump for fucking God. You know what I mean? Or I didn't think about it. So the summer of 2017 was when, through my experiences with Craig, was when I had that moment where it was like, holy shit. All this stuff is true. This is all true. This is all real. Israel. Illuminati confirmed. But, yeah, and then just as time goes on, it's just been more reinforced with just everything, right? I mean, they're really going after Christianity hardcore. The FBI, I talked about recently, we're doing these sort of behind the scenes kind of operations, special ops, trying to get some bills together to go after the emerging threat of Christian terrorism, which currently is non-existent. So they got a ways to go. But they had I'm going to call him the Surgeon General. The Attorney General was in a hearing for something else, and they were talking about the Christian bias possibly in the letter agencies for the glow ends, and they had a memo that leaked from the organization that the Surgeon General denied any knowing of or understanding of or any of that. He said he doesn't agree with it, he rejects it, whatever, but he knew, obviously. They've been putting spies in Catholic churches, specifically ones that do a Latin Mass. I don't know what that is, but it's an effort to try to criminalize Christianity, because that's where all this is leading. Rejecting Jesus Christ. That's what it's all it is. All this is everything. The way it seems like the system protects different groups or classes of people. They don't care about them. They just want to use the things they put in place to then metaphorically beat you over the head and shoulders with it. They want to control language. They don't just control you. So whenever they do something in the name of a repressed group, they don't care about that group. They see us all as one thing. It's funny because we see ourselves as all these different kind of groups. The black, white, Latino, whatever. Christian, Muslim, gay, straight. They see all of us as one thing. We're all one thing to them. And by dividing all up into these little groups that they promote our directional movement to, we're fucking doing their work for them. But you know what? There's nothing to do about that. That ship has sailed. There's no point in thinking about that. So, it's something to, take note of and say, hey, that's what's happened. It's too bad. But, that's how they work all this stuff. They're a very small group, relatively to us. They're a very small group, and they keep us away from them because they keep us fighting with each other. Anyway, my friend Craig came down. He's moved back, not into my area, but closer to my area. He had moved up to the North Shore, I guess about 2.5 years ago. He's only been down a couple times. When I first started the channel, 2020, something like that, 2020 or 2021. It was when the lockdowns were going on. He had moved up there. And when I first started the channel here, I used to talk about how this all started for me. I mean, I was always research the kind of topics I talk about here as a hobby, and I felt that I would never have any practical application for it. It turns out, here we are. So I had that kind of knowledge, but the God thing was just not in my life until I began having these experiences with Craig during that summer. So I always wanted to talk about like my origin story as this guy I am now, but I wanted him to be there because at the time I'm like, this is just way too crazy, right? I need him to be there to say, dude, this, and he'll say, yeah. But I don't care about that shit anymore. And even like lately, like I don't know how I've been watching. I don't know how long you've been watching, but you may have noticed I don't fill up the screen with links and citations anymore. It's funny. I used to all the time, but I would at the same time make fun of it with those citations memes, and you guys know or whatever they're there's a few different popular variations on that. But I would always, like, almost every other thing I'd say, I'd feel compelled to show you an image or something that where I could say, see, this is what I'm talking about. I don't care about that anymore. I think we're all kind of on the same page. We may have a little bit difference of opinion on how the nitty gritty goes down, how the mechanics work in certain aspects, and yeah, there's always, theories are always open to, debate, but we're all kind of caught up here. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm just kind of, I always talk about not bothering trying to convince anyone of anything. It's a fool's game. But when I first started it, I felt that I really had to do that. Like I had some kind of credibility issue or something. I don't care if anyone believes. I'm just telling you what's happening. Whether you believe it or not or whatever, I really don't care. I like you guys, though. Everybody that has been cool to me that comes here, and I appreciate it. But if there's something that I go over that sounds a little wacky, you could always ask, and I'll be happy to send the information. I just did that this morning with what was it? Oh, some Jeffrey Epstein stuff. It was just some information about his Jesuit group. They're called the Jesters. It's just that kind of stuff. It's depressing, that shit, But there was an X thread about it, and I posted some stuff from it, and a few people, I posted on my Instagram. A few people were like, oh wait, do you have more of this? So I dug out all the stuff I saved and sent over. I don't mind doing that. I'd rather just keep going and keep just getting the stuff out rather than taking way too long to edit some of these things, because I feel like I have to put a citation in for everything. It doesn't matter. You could have. It's a bad methodology anyway. Like, why am I putting that stuff there? To convince you guys? I don't have to convince you guys. If you're here watching this, you're already on the team. You're not, people just don't stumble into these things and keep watching them if they're not called to it. They do stumble into these things, because this is how I found a lot of people I watch. I wasn't promoted any of the channels I watch from fucking YouTube or anything. So yeah, you can stumble into these, but not stumble into these if you're watching just like, I don't know, cooking content or like just normie stuff, you know? So, I don't know. I don't feel that I should waste my time doing that anymore. And I can instead talk about new releases from rock bands. Yeah. Fucking the other night, I think it was Friday night, and I'm gonna get back to Craig. Killing Joke dropped a new single, and I'm like, well, I gotta go talk about it. And I'm like, dude, you gotta settle down. You got the damn thing going on. You got Peter Gabriel stuff, but it's weird. These are some of my favorite artists in the world. You know what? Killing Joke, who is a recent new favorite artist over the last couple of years. I've always liked them, but I've only really started getting into them the past few years. But other than that, you know, The Damned, Genesis, which Peter is from, Maiden, Duran. I've got videos on all those things. Like that. I mean, that's it. So it just happens as a confluence of the happenings here with the music stuff. So I've been pumping all of that out lately. But Craig is closer now. I actually want to get something. We'd planned to get some stuff this weekend, some footage, but I haven't seen him in so long that we just ended up shooting the shit. And I'll tell you a quick funny story. Whenever we get together, we would attract entities, demonic entities. It's almost like what I've explained before. When you are aware of this situation, this game, this system, you show up on the radars of other participants. You might be a little blip, all right? An awakened guy, one guy, there's a little blip. They may not even come looking for you. You get two guys together, now you got a big blip. They're gonna come looking for you. And they always come looking for us. And that's how this whole thing started with me and him. And I am, now that he's down here, I'm going to do some stuff on it, and we'll talk about it. But I just wanted to catch up with him on a lot of shit, because I haven't talked to him in a while. His dad passed away, bought a new car or a truck, whatever, just stuff. And we just talk about bands and things, shooting the shit. I haven't seen him in over a year, maybe a year and a half, so I didn't want to like say, all right, let's get out there and start fucking mumbling into my phone, you know, so I didn't want to do that. So, and plus I kind of want to, you know, I don't know. I don't want to just shove the camera in his face right away. So we went cruising around. We went over to Don Quixote because he wanted like some, I forget what he was buying. So we go over there and we pull into the little parking lot. There's like a parking garage, and we're sitting there just talking, smoking butts, whatever. And we go inside the store. Everything's cool. Come back out. About to head over to the gas station. And we go back into the parking garage. And there's this guy a couple rows down from us. Screaming. Going, ah! Like he's fighting with someone. I assumed he was just fighting with somebody. I kind of glanced over at him. His vehicle looked normal. He looked normal. He's like a big guy, like a maybe Samoan or some kind of islander. Like the common kind of thing you see, you know. And those people have always been really cool to me. I've never had a problem with any of those guys, like the Islanders or the Native Hawaiians, the right few that I've met. So I just didn't think anything of it. And he's screaming and screaming. And I look over as I'm about to get in the truck, and he's looking at us. I could see that he's looking in our direction. But I'm not looking at him. I can look over. I'm using my peripheral vision to kind of catch what's happening. And there's no one over there but him. By his car, he's got his back hatchback open. So, and just as I'm getting in the truck, Craig's like, he's yelling at us. I'm like, why? He goes, I don't know. All I heard the guy say is something about a Lamborghini, and I heard him say two toughies. And I thought he was referring to kids or something. Maybe his kids were fighting. And then Craig's like, no, he was talking about us. And I'm like, what the fuck is his problem? And Craig's like, I don't know, but we're gonna take a ride by him and see what happens. So he's carrying on. Oh, you think about it? I don't know. You know, I was thinking, is it a white guy thing? But like I said, I never get that. I don't have I mean, it could be, but whatever. So we get in the car, start the car, and we drive like right by. If he's the post, right? We drive the car right by him with the windows down. I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and Craig's like, "Have a good day, sir." And the guy from my peripheral vision didn't say anything. He's not moving. He's just standing there staring. So we drive off into the street, right? And I'm like, that was weird, huh? Like, why was he so mad at us? He goes, because he's one of them. Meaning demonic entities, right? So I'm like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. It's because you and I are together, right? Yeah, you thought of that and I didn't, huh? And he's like, oh, no, I didn't think of it either. That guy had no eyes. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said he had, like, white eyes, like, no pupils, he had no eyes in his head. So yeah, he was one. He was one of them for sure. You know, that's what happens with me and Craig. What we do is some stuff together. It should be a fun time. I got to go make my elderly man pilgrimage to the drugstore. That used to freak me out. It's the old people walking drug. What the fuck they do at the drugstore every day? Now I'm one of those old people going to the drugstore every day. I don't need drugs. I don't know. Something I do. You know, ours is not to question why. Ours is just to go and see if there's any Hot Wheels there. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.